I'm Sandra with SawdustGirl.com. Today I'm going to show you how to remove baseboards and trim. The tools that you need to begin are a 5-in-1 painter's tool and also a utility knife, unless your 5-in-1 tool is a handy dandy all-inclusive. This one's very sharp, so I'm using it as my utility knife. A hammer, a crowbar, and most importantly, a block of scrap wood. So the first thing that you want to do is take your utility knife and cut the caulk. If you have painted baseboards, you most likely have caulk along the top seam and anywhere where the baseboard meets any other kind of trim. So you want to cut through the caulk. If you don't cut through the caulk, it'll tear the drywall paper as you remove it. So I'm going to do that with my little scraper tool here. And you're not just scoring it, you want to actually cut through, so you have to use some muscle. Okay, so after you get the caulk cut all the way around the room, you're going to use your 5-in-1 tool and your hammer, and you're going to start at the beginning of a run of molding. You're not going to start in the middle, because then you're trying to pull the baseboard off in two directions. So it's best to start at the beginning or end. And you'll notice I have my safety gear on. It gets a little loud when you use the hammer to whack. So the reason you start with a painter's tool is because it's a lot thinner. Am I yelling? What are you doing?
These are my earplugs.
Oh. The 5-in-1 painter's tool is it's got a much narrower taper, so you won't damage your baseboard when you wedge this down between there. The crowbar has a really fat taper, so you could end up dinging up your baseboard. So just very gently tap this behind there and get it started, and then you might move it down so you can get a little more leverage. And you get your crowbar behind there. Now the thing you don't want to do is take your crowbar and just wedge it up, because all of the pressure of this entire baseboard that's nailed onto the wall is going to be right here on the fulcrum, and you're going to bash a hole right in your drywall. So that's why we use a scrap of wood, and that disperses the pressure along this whole piece of wood. And I use a hammer, and I use both of them, the hammer and the crowbar, so I can kind of move down the line. And you just want to go very gently so you don't break your molding. Get that started and move down the line. Eventually you'll have enough out that you can use your hands to pull as well. Just go slow, because the main point is to not damage your wall to where you have to go back and do a bunch of repair work if you're going to end up putting this back on. Okay, so that came off fairly easily. I did tear the paper down. My baseboard's going to go right back over it. So that is how you remove trim and baseboard. I'm going to scrape off this extra caulk as well. So the other thing is just make sure that you take your nails out and don't leave things like this laying around with nails sticking out of them, because it could fall on your head or fall down and somebody could step on it. I don't have our pliers with me right here, so I'm at least going to bend the nails down so they're not sticking straight out. And I'll take care of those shortly.